Of all the countless assumptions that make up our modern industrial worldview, there is one that is primary and all-encompassing. The assumption that we are separate from everyone and everything. This assumption shapes virtually all of our perceptions and actions.
Over the centuries, the story that's been communicated in the modern world, consciously or unconsciously, has been that the world operates like a huge machine, made up of separate parts like a big clock. For the past 400 years, the scientific tradition has been trying to take the clock apart and figure out how it works, so we can master it and use it for our own purposes.
A mechanistic view meant that instead of seeing the interconnection between things, there was a way of analyzing what people were coming into contact with and taking it apart. So what evolved was kind of a fragmented view of the natural world. And we became hypnotized, really, with the power that came out of this technology. And we lost our connection to each other. We lost our connection to the mystery of the universe.
There's a fundamental misconception that we are separate. We're learning that's not true. If there's only one, then whatever I do to you, I do to me. If there's only one, whatever I do to the air, I do to me. If there's only one, whatever I do in society is what I'm actually doing to myself, doing to my family, doing to my children.
Spiritual traditions have long taught that separation is an illusion. Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh puts it this way.
We have the word to be, but what I propose is the word to interbe. Because it's not possible to be alone, to be by yourself. You need other people in order to be. You need other beings in order to be. Not only you need father, mother, but also uncle, brother, sister, society, but you also need sunshine, river, air, trees, birds, elephants, and so on. So it is impossible to be by yourself alone. You have to interbe with everyone and everything else. And therefore, to be means to interbe.
Increasingly, people in the modern world are listening to the voices of indigenous people, whose message has always been that all things are connected.
We use another terminology called Midaki Oase, is all my relations. You know, we try to recognize that we are related to everything, to the animals, to the fish, to the plants, to the trees, to the birds, even the microorganisms, so that we are all related.
The foundational understanding from my point of view, or an indigenous point of view, is that you are a part of that land in a very interdependent way. You are part of the land, and it's your body. It's you. And you can't do things to the land that in the end comes back and destroys you.
This deep recognition of interconnection is supported by the current scientific understanding of the origin of the universe, which has shown that all of creation is profoundly connected at both the macro and micro level.
We can see that everything that ever was, is, or will be was compressed into a space smaller than a seed, tinier than a tear, more minuscule than a molecule. All space, all time, and the potential for everything that would ever exist started as a single point. So in a very real sense, science has discovered what indigenous people have known all along. We are all one. We are all connected. We all come from the very same source. Everything we see around us has developed from the boiling cauldron of the early Earth, a sphere of lava that miraculously gave rise to the sea and the atmosphere, and then life in its infinite expressions. As Brian Swim says, the Earth was once molten rock and now sings operas.
It is not the case that the Earth was assembled and then we were added to the Earth and it was there for our purposes. Rather, we came out of the Earth. We are the universe in the form of a human, and it's true of everyone. It's an amazing new understanding of ourselves that is so profoundly inclusive. And everyone is part of this. Everything is part of this. And we discover as well a profound kinship, that no matter what being we're talking about on the planet, we are related. We're related in terms of energy. We're related in terms of genetics. We're all, in one way or another, like a form of kin. And that, it's overwhelming. So it's just now coming into human awareness. It's going to take a lot of reflection to embody this fully, but it is a massive change in human consciousness.
Seeing ourselves as separate has had devastating consequences on the planet and all of life. Now, a new story about who we are as a planetary family is beginning to shape the consciousness on Earth. Looking at our history through this lens, it could be said that human beings have been tragically mistaken rather than being fundamentally flawed. This is good news because there's not much hope for an innately flawed species. But there is hope for one that is recognized and is waking up from a trance. That creates some powerful new possibilities for the future.